And when you've got no leverage, it means that you're basically a captive in that government. The DA will never be a captive because we have got leverage, huge leverage.
And most of the business community really wanted us to do one thing, and that was to prop up Cyril Ramaphosa and protect him from the EFF and the MK. That's what they wanted us to do.
Is Helen Zille calling the shots behind the scenes? It seems the DA isn't just negotiating with the ANC. They are controlling the terms, even taking attendance. Today we uncovered the details of this political power play and what it means for South Africa's future. Stick around, because what we are about to reveal might change how you see these parties forever. Welcome back to Inkari. It's time. I'm Kondos, and today we're diving into the high-stakes world of coalition politics. We're going to explore Helen Zille's recent statements about the DA's interaction with the ANC during coalition negotiations. Zille's comments reveal some surprising dynamics, suggesting that the DA is treating the ANC like students who need to check in, literally. So let's break down what this means for the future of South African politics. First, let's look at what Helen Zille actually said. Recently, Zille described how during coalition talks, the DA used fluctuation in the rand as a leverage to push the ANC into action. When the ANC didn't show up, Zille would call a journalist, and the next day, the rand would drop. This kind of media pressure and the market's reaction were powerful tools, which she says kept the ANC in check. But it goes even further. Zille mentioned how former DA leader Tony Leon would mark the register. Yes, literally taking note of ANC members who showed up late or didn't attend. This level of control and accountability is almost like a school setting where one party holds all the authority.
One of the strongest things that we had in the negotiation, the strongest lever the DA had by far, was the value of the rand. Every time things were going well, the rand went up, 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 up. Every time things went badly, the rand plummeted. The bond market was exactly the same. It was extraordinary. I've tracked the value of the rand against the timeline of the negotiations, and it's an absolute correlation. Once, I think it was on the 11th of June, when we were supposed to have a negotiation, the ANC just didn't rock up. And we waited the whole day and they didn't come. So I just told a journalist, and they wrote about it in the newspaper the next day. The rand, right down. Now I didn't do that to get the rand down. I do that to say to the ANC, don't mess us around, you know. Don't mess us around. If you say you're coming, we want to see you. And Tony Leon was so funny, he sat there with his book and he marked every time anyone was late for anything on his book. So I'm sure he's going to write another book about these negotiations, and there you will see what time every single meeting started and who was late and how late they were. Tony was very funny about that. So yeah, that's your answer.
Now, why is this significant? It suggests the DA may be not just negotiating with the ANC, but actively steering the coalition process. In these negotiations, the DA has effectively positioned itself as the driver, setting the rules and holding the ANC accountable for every missed step. Think about it. If the DA has this level of influence in coalition talks, what does it mean for their power over policy decisions in a shared government? And this isn't just about politics. It's about market confidence. Every time the ANC missed a meeting or negotiations broke down, the rand reacted negatively. This instability doesn't just affect politicians. It impacts every South African, from fuel prices to food costs. Zille's comments hint that the DA understands this power and is willing to wield it to ensure the ANC falls in line. Is this good for democracy? Some might say it's a necessary check on the ANC's inconsistency, while others may view it as an overreach, almost like holding the ANC hostage through economic pressure. Either way, it shows that the DA, not the ANC, is taking charge in these critical coalition discussions. So, what can we take away from all this? Helen Zille's remarks reveal a DA that's willing to go the extra mile to control the coalition process, whether through strategic media links, tricking the rand, or marking the ANC's attendance. The DA appears determined to keep the ANC accountable and on the tight leash. This power dynamic might just shift the future of coalition politics in South Africa.
Now, we had to follow a very careful strategy as we went into those negotiations, because we had promised the voters that if we do one thing, we will save them from the Doomsday Coalition. And the only option we faced then, given the fact that, as you say, the multi-party charter had not given us the results that made us enable us to get over 50% together, the only option to do that was to get some kind of deal with the ANC. And ANC could not do a straight coalition with the DA. They could not, because they would have blown apart internally. They were too divided internally. So from the beginning, Cyril Ramaphosa came up with this notion of a government of national unity, which he thought would be a better way of selling the concept of coalition to his own party. Now, this of course is not a government of national unity, because a government of national unity brings all parties together, which would have had to include the EFF and the MK party, which it did not. But it still gave the president the fig leaf he needed to bring in all sorts of smaller parties to say, I'm not in a coalition with the DA. Now, the truth is that we are actually in a coalition, because a coalition means that if a party withdraws from the coalition, the government falls. Now, none of the other parties, none of the other 9 parties in the coalition have any leverage at all on the ANC or on the government. They can pull out tomorrow, it will make no difference.
Thanks for watching. What do you think about Zille's approach? Is the DA strategy an example of responsible coalition management, or is it a form of political overreach? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Inkari. It's time for more insights, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our deep dives into South Africa's political scene. Until next time, stay informed and stay engaged. Take care.